A powerful new piece of public art is transforming South Los Angeles, not just as a landmark, but as a living space for community, culture, and remembrance.
Our McCollum Medina is live at Art Sculpture Park, where he spoke to the artist out there today. Mac.
Hi guys, it really is quite a sight to see here at 76 and Western. Take a look behind me. You can see these are massive sculptures we're talking about. Sculpted figures, towering pillars. They echo an Egyptian kind of theme here, but the artist, born here in South LA, says the monuments that she created are for people in the neighborhood.
I made it for the neighborhood. I grew up not too far from here.
What artist Lauren Halsley has made is striking. Towering columns, carved faces, sphinx-like structures, and glass fiber reinforced cement that looks like Egyptian limestone, all in a massive outdoor sculpture park called Sister Dreamer that honors Lauren's local heroes, her neighbors, and her family.
Here we have what I call is like the sort of pantheon of everyday genius in the neighborhood.
This face is your mother.
Yeah.
She says she's also honoring those that are often unseen.
So many of our genius, in my opinion, get overlooked, get devalued, don't get their flowers.
So along with the blooming flowers and the native plants, water fountains along that busy road, Lauren literally puts those people up on pedestals.
That's Robin, one of the founders of the Sisters of Watts.
Creating not only tributes to local people, but also to the local neighborhood. In that large cube, carvings like Egyptian hieroglyphs highlight the neighborhood's past and also its present.
It's about like now, like an everyday experience in the neighborhood as I see it, and wanting to reflect back a portrait of South Central that's not one about the stereotypes.
It's beautiful. It's really amazing. It's history.
Cara Gomez, who's lived in the neighborhood for more than 70 years, says the sculptures not only capture what she remembers, but gives her hope for the future.
This, I think, if a lot of people take a minute and come see it, it would give them that pride of what we have accomplished and what we can accomplish.
There is certainly a lot of pride in this sculpture park. Another look at it live here. Now, the cool thing about this park is that there will also be live events that'll happen. They've already started happening, mostly focused on youth events, but really for everyone else in the neighborhood. Their big one is coming up for Juneteenth. The artist is trying to invite as many people as she can because they want to break a world record of the longest Soul Train line in history. We're going to do that Juneteenth here at 76 and Western. They hope everybody shows up. We're live in South LA. I'm McCollum Medina, NBC4 News.
When emergencies happen.
So let's give it up to that artist, man. I got to admit something that, because I've been wrong about this whole entire issue with regards to this cultural district. Not completely wrong, but from a stance to where I'm like, you know, what do the African American I hate hearing myself. What does the African American community need right now, the Black American community need right now in terms of helping it develop and grow into what ultimately meant to be a resemblance of what our forebears were, right? Who they fought for and what they fought for. What they fought for the next generation to be achievers. And it's, you know, we have somebody like the artist who developed this site being a resemblance to that, but how do we spark more about it when you see so much of negativity that's seeming like to want to come out of our communities? And it's been a lot of betrayal with news media, and we betray that upon ourselves a lot of times when it comes to social media. But yet and still, how do we navigate the Black American community, like I said, to be a reflection of what their forebears wanted them to be? Like, how do we spark the minds that led the civil rights movement and that participated in the civil rights movement? How do we live off the achievements that the Black American accomplished with the 14th Amendment, with the fight for freedom, with the Revolutionary War, with the Civil War, and so many wars that we have been participating in until black man go home, the Vietnam War, and the American won all those battles side by side with black Americans, right? How do we regenerate that? And I've been wrong about this, and I'm gonna admit, I thought the Black Cultural District should be focused more on education. Education was the key, right? So I'm glad that it goes into this whole idea of being able to give our youth a reflection of what their forebears had accomplished, around the world. And I know it's going to go much deeper, but I'm thinking of myself in reflection of how did I get to this place to where I have an imagination in myself cultivated towards goals that I want to achieve. And it's came about from the possibilities of reading, studying, and knowing who I am, from the accomplishments of people who have come before me, and knowing that I have a standard to live up to, and that it should be no less, and that no matter how the world looks at me or looks upon me and frowns upon me or whatever, right? That because my forebears had achieved so much, that I should only be able to do that much more better. So while I was putting the emphasis on education. This is something that I was missing personally. I was missing the point of, in a capitalist environment, as individualists, when all men is supposed to be in pursuit of happiness, that is what this country is all about. It's not about socialism. It's not about this whole democratic scheme that try to get you to fall trap and pretty much be victim to their ideas, in terms that we are a collective. We are a collective, but we are a nation. We are a nation of individualists, all right? So in that point, yeah, we are a collective, but it's the individual aspects of each of us that makes this country thrive, not getting handed stuff. So I've been wrong from the perspective of education, how the cultural district needs to be targeted towards education more than art, not just art. And here we come to a point to where in looking at this video, right, I had to have an understanding of how did I get to this place to where I am, trying to making the attempt to accomplish what I am accomplishing and educate myself to accomplish those goals, so that those goals are able to be brought out into the world. And it has to come towards a goal. It has to be from a goal of how I see myself, right? And we can allow our youth to imagine how they see themselves, then what we'll have exactly what we need in our community. And because once they are able to see themselves for who they really are, in terms of what their forebears had did for them, and have an understanding that they have not a standard to live up to, because their standards are their own, right? But the education will follow. So what is more needed in our community is just the support system. The support system to get them to, when they have these goals that they want to achieve, that we hold them to them, but we give them the support system. This is why sports and extracurricular activities was so important in the 80s, before Ronald Reagan's MAGA, which took so many after-school programs up out of the black community. Mass incarceration, where they started to build up prisons, the war on drugs, while we were selling drugs into our communities to support wars in other countries. Here we're gotten into this point after going through all that, right, to where we're trying to get ourselves back, and the world is ready to see us back. The world is ready to see the black man that they saw in the 1960s, who was, ready to take up a fight for their individual freedom as a collective. Doesn't mean that we are a collective society. We are not China. This is not a socialist society. We are individuals who, on an individual basis, should be able to achieve our economic individual goals. That what sparks this country to stay alive. It's like, what I'm saying? That's where this country lies at. So I don't need you to give me anything, because what I need from you is for you to leave me alone and for me to go about my business in life based on how I wanted to achieve it. And the only way that that's going to happen if we have an understanding of who we are and where we come from. So I've been wrong. So applause to Miss Lauren. I think it's Lauren Haley. Shout outs to that, and go participate Juneteenth in this new event that is going to be coming up on Western 76. All right, go be a part of that soul train. Be a part of it to the extent to where you are exemplifying to the youth of what this community is on an individual perspective, to allow them to open their minds up to their own possibilities. And hopefully we can get more things like nonprofit organizations, because that's where I think the black community is failing at right now. The nonprofit organizations and that support system, basically, which supports these individuals, our next generation, towards achieving everything that they set their minds to. Basically, whatever the mind can conceive, it can be achieved. We have to be able to allow them the support system to achieve, because education will follow right within that. Once we are able to sit them down and they are able to navigate from within themselves with our support on how to achieve those goals. So we lack the support system within our communities for our youth to blossom. And it's not, everyone, because, you got individuals like this who's developed this art system, this art on 76th and Western. But it is, a stigma that we have in our community in which we have to get back to where this is why Donald Trump's new education agenda is so important, right? Because it draws down onto allowing us to be competitive, and not just basing the point of us getting federal dollars into our school systems based on test scores. If you had to look at each and every single individual child that is part of your education system and motivate them towards receiving that education, we have to think about it from a box. No matter what school, whether it's a Black American school, whether it's a white American school, whether it's a Hispanic American school, we have to look at it from all notes to see how do we compete to get these federal dollars. And we have to look at every single student and see what do our students most want to attract them to learn. And that's where the flip is going to have to occur when it comes to this Trump's administration new educational agenda, instead of you just getting dollars based on attendance and test scores. So once again, applaud, participate, Juneteenth. Tiny Cross-H.U.G on the Chumped Up Live Show. Always remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel.
We are the essence of God's image. We are the representation of God's love for His creation.